more interested in the content and less interested in what it looks like quite often. I encourage new reporters to get their photographers to take their cameras off of the tripod, take them to the scene, help the viewer understand where the story is that they're delivering, what's happening around them so that they can feel a part of it. And that doesn't mean make yourself the center of the story, but it means put yourself in the center of the story. You are their eyes and you are their ears. And how can you help that translate through the camera? Don't be afraid to try new things.
Okay, 1 second. Still looking great. And now, for photographers, let's say you're starting to hire a new photographer, right? It's not just photographer anymore, is it? And what do you worry about pictures as much as what, like if you're looking at a photojournalist's tape that's coming in, a photographer's tape. So what I'm doing is I'm gearing this for photographers and for photojournalists. I want it to be for VJs, you know what I mean? I want it to be for everything. When you're looking at a photographer's tape, before it used to be pictures and sound, how they put them together, right? The cool angle shots and stuff. Right now, how has that changed? What's different about it that you think people may be misled in schools with?
That can still be important, and it still is important. But it's also important that they're flexible and that they're a great team player and that they're willing to do what needs to be done to get the story on TV. Local television newsrooms are not production houses. We do not have the luxury to spend 40 hours producing a beautiful piece. Many photographers have that ability. They're the frustrated artists because they're in a situation where they can't refine their craft to the best of their ability. But that's not what we're in the business of doing. Are there opportunities for that? Absolutely, on occasion. You're a fabulous photographer, but you're also very flexible, and you're willing to do whatever we need to make happen to get the story on television. So you have learned to balance your artistic abilities with your technical abilities, maybe. That is critical. That's what's important. It's just like I'll hire a newspaper journalist and teach him TV. I might hire someone who's technically adept, very flexible, willing to learn, and willing to wade through 3 feet of snow and say, let me teach you photography. Will they be an award-winning photographer? Maybe not. Will they be the best photographer on the team? Maybe.
And in the end, it's a lot of it is what? Is it that you're willing to get the story, you're willing to do whatever you can to get the story, and versus, like they're coming out of school, right? They're coming out of school right now and their technical skills are very low, right? What would make somebody enticing to you, you know? If they were a photojournalist, if they're, let's even coming from a middle market to here, right? Coming from a smaller market like Channel 10 to here. You look at a tape, do you even consider anymore, do you consider photographers, or do you consider them photojournalists, or do you consider them VJs? You know what I mean?
Everybody in the news operation is a journalist, and it's much less compartmentalized than it used to be. So while your primary focus might be photography, you must come with other layers of ability. You should write. You should be able to ask questions. You should be willing to go out on a story on your own when necessary and turn that into a piece for air tonight or into a web story. You're going to be taking stills from the field. You'll be texting back information. You'll be shooting video while you're out there. And any of those things is going to make you stronger at your primary job. I think that newsrooms do still hire people for primary focuses. This newsroom doesn't employ pure VJs, but we do expect that everybody can write and everybody can shoot and everybody can edit. They'll just do those things with different levels of skill. And everyone will still have a primary skill because that's what makes us experts. We won't water down the staff so much as to say everybody has to know everything and everybody has to do that to the same level of capability. I don't think that that's the right direction to go. As far as the future goes with those types of jobs, what I've said here is, I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. Ours is a big, huge guess. I think it's a good guess. I think it's a well-educated guess. And I think that the advice that I'm giving to people is right on and will help lend to their success in the future. But we'll have to it remains to be seen what we're going to look like in 10 years from now as multi-platform content center newsrooms.
When you hire people in this market, I'm going to go to all markets and try to hit every market up to show them different things. When you hire in this market, are you looking for somebody who's long-term? Do news directors look for long-term talent, or do they look for somebody who's probably going to use this place as a jump, but they can still benefit us? You know?
Middle markets will get a mix of both. You will get some people that will decide to make their careers here, and you will get others that will move up, and you'll get others that will move out. So I guess I don't necessarily look to that when I'm looking at a tape coming in the door. I'm looking at the next maybe 3 years, if that's how long the contract is, 2 or 3 years. And
how about this? How can a reporter differentiate themselves from other reporters in a newsroom? What catches your eye?
Their ability to recognize a story that the viewers will connect with. Their ability to include the details of what's happening without getting bogged down in the details. I think that that's a challenging skill. I don't see many people who bring that to the table. It's the details in people's lives that we connect to. It's the details in reporters' stories that will drag you into their content. I think television reporters tend to produce stories that are often superficial and don't give us enough information because they've been taught it must not be complicated, keep it simple. But there's a way to keep it simple and still break down the concepts and help the viewer understand them. I also look for any reporter who's got an ability to talk on their feet. Don't write a script for a live shot. Write bullet points. Talk to me like I'm talking to you. I haven't scripted our interview questions. I'm not looking down like this. That would be distracting to you if I had to do that, and then if I lost my place while I was doing that. You have to look at the viewer. You're talking to the viewer. Just explain it to them like you're explaining it to your neighbor. But that's more difficult to do than to talk about.
And it's live shots. Are they important to you?
Oh, they're critical. They're critical. Breaking news is what sets television apart from the internet. People still will go to TV and they'll flock to the television for a breaking news event or weather situation. They're not going to go to the internet to watch a factory on fire downtown. They're going to go to television first. They might go to the internet to augment that, but it's where our bread and butter of the future is. So, you don't script breaking news. You have to talk on your feet. It's extemporaneous, and you better be walking and talking and making me feel like I'm on that same street corner you are. And if you have that ability, that will set you apart as a reporter.
With new technology out and about and VJs out there, what are you expecting for the future from the web, from these people coming in? A VJ coming in, do you know, there's one way of training people at your station, but the new crop coming in, what tools are you expecting from these people that are more complex, more developed than the people you already have? You know?
I believe that the people that we send out into the field to gather news should be given the right equipment to be successful at that. And that means on every platform. TV, internet, phones, and whatever the next platform is. I expect that they will be constantly churning out content that will be delivered to the appropriate platform when it comes back into the building. We're the conduit the building is the conduit to send it out on the platform. So I can't tell you until you get out there what order that might be in. But they should be in a position to use their critical thinking skills to determine that. They might use Twitter first. Then they might take their smartphone and send back a video clip and a still picture, because then they're joined by the person whose primary job is as a photographer, who starts shooting the B-roll. And then by then, they've done a Skype shot over the internet to our web platform so that we break that news first. And at that point, they say, I have another hour until my television deadline, when we're going to get on TV at noon and do a live shot that's going to include videotape and a live interview and a walk and talk. And they're producing for all of those platforms. They need to be able to understand all those technologies and utilize all those technologies and understand which one would be most appropriate at any given moment. But they can't be micromanaged from the building. That workflow has to be created on their own out there. And the managers in the building have to have people where they have a level of confidence that that's exactly what's going to happen.
Branching off a little bit, ethics, all right, in a reporter. Is that something you just expect them to have, or is it something you hope to see in their work? And is it more tangible that way or not? And have they changed since a while ago? You know, like.
It's a lot of questions.
It is.
Let's see.
Have ethics changed since 10 years ago, even in terms of the news business? Have things become a little easier to tell because of that, or are they harder to tell because you can't show as much, or what's going on?
I don't think that ethics have changed. I think that people's appetites have changed. But I think that the true journalistic lines and standards are still held true by many of the operations in the country. Each to their own level. I guess I think that mostly I hire people that understand the ethics of journalism because that's what they're mostly taught in J schools. So my level of expectation is that that's the piece that I don't have to fully educate them on. I would educate them on how we utilize those rules and how it's handled within our operation, and how they use the new technology to accomplish the same goals of the best journalists in history.
And ethics versus and internet versus television, is there a difference there?
Well, they're different platforms and we consume them differently. So yes, there is a difference. You might be a little more willing to show pictures on the internet that would be disturbing because it's the viewer has to make an active choice to look at them. When you're producing broadcasting, you made your choice once by putting us on, but beyond that, you are putting your faith in us that we've made the right decisions for you as a consumer. So yes, there are different things we can do on each of the platforms, and that makes us stronger and allows us to fully develop our content.
Teamwork, is that important? With the VJ market coming, VJs are pretty isolated, you know what I mean? They have to do everything one-man band and stuff like that. It's very easy to say it's hard to be a team player when I'm doing all the work for myself anyway as a VJ. Is teamwork crucial? Is it easier to use? Is it easy to neglect, or what do you consider about teamwork?
Well, the two-person reporter-photographer team is certainly not the only teamwork that goes on in a news-gathering organization. So I don't think that the skill of being able to work with others is diminished at all. I think self-reliance is increased, but you're still going to be working with managers. You're never going to have every single day where you're out there by yourself. You can't do breaking news by yourself. You need more people out in the field. Your team is most important in those situations. So the importance has not diminished, yet it's only increased, but so has so has self-reliance.
Um, let's see. Is there how much time we got left? Do you think?
Quarter to.
Quarter two. Good. We're doing good so far. I'm almost done here, Patty. I'm almost done. In terms of your average reporter versus a stellar reporter, right? Let's say we look at Brad and Ken and these guys, right? You can go ahead. When you look at these reporters, what do you think to yourself that sets them apart?
A lot of it is that intangible it factor. They get it. They are connected to the people in their community. They understand what makes stories sing. They know how to weave the details into their story that are going to make the viewer more connected with what's going on. They have good organizational systems and a lot of autonomy, and they keep track of their own stories and bring them to the table at the appropriate times and moments. Very difficult to teach.
And in terms of bringing stuff to the table, do you want somebody to just carelessly throw an idea out in a meeting, or do you want some time spent? Do you think they should spend time outside of work sometimes? Is this a 9-to-5 job?
If it's not your passion, you're in the wrong business. If it's your passion, you're walking around with it constantly. Story ideas come from everywhere. You can't separate your personal life from your professional life. And if you think you can, you're probably in the wrong business, and you should be an accountant, because then maybe you can. But, your neighbors know the job you have. Your friends know the job you have. Every conversation bleeds through with that. I'm not asking you to work all of the time. I'm asking you to use the information that you gather in your life to make you stronger at your job. What was the beginning of that? Because there was something else I was going to say.
I said, what would, is this a 9-to-5 job? Is this,
Oh, come to the table. Right, yes. Please don't bring half-cooked story ideas to the assignment desk or the editorial meeting. Please vet your story ideas and present them when you know they can be turned. I find it very annoying, I have a short fuse for that, at an editorial meeting when a story idea is thrown out there that no calls have been made on. I heard that blah, blah, blah. And the rest of the room wants to pontificate about what they know about blah, blah, blah. Well, there's no work being done in there. It's just a time to just shoot the junk, and I would much rather a reporter who comes in and says, I've got this story, these people are at risk, I've made the calls, their story's good, the city says so, I can shoot them at 11 o'clock. That's as good as it gets.
last question, all right? What do you hate about, what do you hate, what's your worst reporter, your nightmare of a reporter?
The one who gets it wrong and I have to answer calls, puts my whole product at risk by being unethical, by getting the facts mixed up, by not understanding the content that they're presenting because it's over their heads, and yet they don't ask for help and try and delineate that.
Okay, anything else you want to add that you think I missed?
I do think that the people who are coming into this business today are at a true advantage to the people who have been in this business for the last 10, 15, 20, 30 years, because they're users of all the new technology. They did not know a day where the internet and mobile phones that they could text and send emails from didn't exist. And so they are going to come to the forefront, not having to learn the things that many of us are now teaching ourselves. Where was I going to go with that? So while it's a scary time in our industry and an unsure time in the world with the economy and where where we're headed as a local television stations or local content providers. If you're a young person who's breaking into the business, there's room for great reporters, great shooters, great writers. You are already a multitasker based on how you live your life. We know that. We know that from watching the things that you do. Your skills then will translate clearly into the newsrooms of the future and propel you ahead in your career.
Fun? Is there still fun in this business?
Oh, it's different every day. You have no idea what your day will bring. If you like structure, you might want to, again, go find that accounting job because I can't guarantee anything tomorrow, and I can't guarantee anything 10 minutes from now. And that's what makes it fun. And the good stories.
All right. Anything else? Thank you so much, Patti. You